Geek back with another episode of Overhaul. It's been a while since we've done an Overhaul episode, but I have been working on my Let's Play world, and that's kind of where I've been devoting my time. But I've learned some things, and I thought I would kind of put some things together, in a single video of Overhaul to talk. We're going to talk about bulk storage, and essentially there are 6 essential pieces to creating a bulk storage system in your survival world. So again, this is more geared towards people that are in survival. So there's going to be some tips and tricks in here for survival mode, but you can easily do this in creative as well, or on a server. So let's get started. The first essential item for figuring out bulk storage is where your sources are going to come from. Are they coming from spawners? I would definitely always recommend having a manual input into your bulk storage system so that you can manually put items in. Kind of things like that. You have to figure out where your different sources are going to come from. And so I've got a couple of different sources that I put. I've done a lot of pre-building here. Number one is because a lot of the things that I'm talking about today, we've already gone over in previous Overhaul episodes. And so this kind of builds on those. The other is I really just want to, it's not meant to be a tutorial per se. It's more of those things that you need to think about when you're going to create a bulk storage system in your world. So the first one is always input sources. And the reason that this is important is because it's really going to determine at which level you put the transportation system of your items, right? So, we know that it's easy to move items in Minecraft down, and then horizontally as well. The hardest thing is moving them up. So with some careful pre-planning of what level you're going to have your transportation system on for your items, that's going to really greatly impact the amount of work you have to do. So, for example, if you have a spawner at level 50 and you put your main transportation system for items at level 60, well, you've now got to come up 10 blocks. Whereas if you put your main transportation system at level 40, it's much easier to move those items down to the main transportation system. The other thing is resources, right? So we know that item elevators are very resource expensive. So you want to limit the number of item elevators, and I'll kind of show that to you in a second. So what I have done for our bulk storage system is created 2 inputs. One is it's going to be a simple chest where I can put things in manually. The other is simply just this water source that I can drop items into, and this could represent like some sort of spawner. Obviously, the other, I've got a small pallet to work with here, so obviously this would be a lot further away in your actual world. So the idea is you put items into the input chest or into the water stream, and we've got some bulk storage. So we've got cobblestone, granite, and gravel as our bulk storage items. And what we'd want to have happen, if those items are placed in the input chest or in the water stream, they automatically get funneled into these chests and sorted for us. So that, if this was in a mining situation, you just come up from the mine, drop your stuff off, dump it into a chest, leave it and forget it, and then it will be all auto-organized for you. So that's what we want to do, for our storage system. So to make this happen, for a manual input into our storage system, I'm going to go through each of the components. So don't fret. I'm going to go through each of these components, not step by step, but I'm going to kind of explain what each of these pieces is essential to your system. So we've got an input chest here, and let's grab some cobblestone. And so if I put those items in here, you hear a dropper. And what we've got is, out of that chest right there, we've got a hopper that goes to a dropper, and then our favorite comparator repeater redstone clock. that then drops the items into a water stream. And before we start talking about water streams, one thing I'm going to note is you notice that I do have surrounding blocks around where the dropper is dropping those items. So if, for example, I didn't have that block there, the dropper will occasionally drop items onto that ledge there. So make sure that you have that. And you can drop these any number of blocks, right? So, I mean, your drop could be 20 blocks. It could be 10 blocks. It could just be one like I have it. So it doesn't really matter. You can drop those any length that you want, and that kind of gives you some flexibility as well. So if your input chest is way high and your transportation system for your items is way low, that's okay. You can drop them. So then the other input source, just to show you real quick, is just this water stream right here, and we'll just pretend we're a zombie spawner, and we'll get where's some rotten flesh here, because I just dropped some rotten flesh. And yeah, we'll be a squid. We dropped an ink sac. Okay, so that's our other input source, and this would be something like when you're coming from a spawner. Okay, so essential number 1 is define your sources. Essential number 2 is transportation of those items to a centralized location for sorting. And there's a couple ways you can do this. Actually, there's many ways, but there's 2 main ways that I tend to use. Number 1 is you could use hoppers. Okay, you could definitely do that. And where we're trying to get our items to is we're trying to get our items over to this item elevator. And the reason we're trying to get them over there is so they can be lifted up, and then they're going to go to this hopper chain. And then over there is a sorting system, which we'll talk about in a second. But we're trying to get our items to this item elevator. So we could easily do hoppers, and that would not be a problem. However, I'm going to point out, if you're in your survival world, that is going to be horribly expensive. Horribly expensive to do. In my current Let's Play series, I've actually run out of iron. And so, I'm doing a lot of mining right now just to gather my iron resources back. And that's without using hoppers for this transportation system. So what I typically do is I create water streams. So we can make use of water and their flow pressure to push our items to our location. And the way that you do this is you can use ice underneath the water. And the reason that we have to use ice is so that when they come to this block or this junction, because water sources will only travel up to 8 blocks. So after 8 blocks, we need to have another water source. Well, to block that water source and force it to keep moving that direction, we need to have a block here. So we use a trapdoor. But what the ice does is it makes those items move really, really fast, and so they slide right on through and don't stop. If we had a normal block here, they would just stop. And I do use ice in the normal water streams as well, just to make the items go faster. Because the faster your sorting system is, the less time it's going to spend out in the open for it to despawn. So, for example, if you build a huge water stream and it takes more than 5 minutes to actually get to your item elevator or your destination, those items will despawn, even if it's in a water stream. So you'd have to be very efficient. So that's kind of why I use ice as well, to keep them moving fast. So I want to show you real quick though, what you want to do is you only want to have one elevator going up to your sorting system in a central location. And so what I did was I kind of created a junction here. Let me throw that item in there, and you can see it sliding. It goes to the next water stream and then automatically joins up with the more central water stream. The point being is you can have any number of these streams, feeding into your main stream that's going to point to your item elevator. So if you have, like me, in my Let's Play world, I've got 2 spawners that I have stuff going from. I also have the manual chest as well. So I have 3 streams that all come together. But you can junction it just like that with no issues at all. So that's the kind of the main idea with the water stream. So that's essential number 2, is figuring out at what level you're going to have your water stream at, and number 2, kind of how you're going to set that up and where your centralized location is going to go. Then at the end of the water stream, we've got a hopper. And this is just a simple hopper chain into our dropper item elevator. I'm not going to discuss really anything about it because we've already done this, I believe, in episode 3? Yeah, episode 3 was all about item elevators. So I will, if you, I'll put a link in the description of this video if you want to watch that one. Please feel free. But essentially, what this item elevator does, it's going to bring those items up to our main hopper line for sorting. So that is our third essential, is getting it up to the level where it can be sorted. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the actual item sorting. So from this dropper, the items follow this hopper chain, hopper. They keep going and they come to here. Okay, this sorting system was actually put together by Impulse SV. A link is in the description. Brilliant way of actually doing item sorting. Essentially, what happens? Let me just show you. I'm just going to point a couple things out. His video is great, by the way. So if you're looking for a detailed explanation of how the sorter works, I would encourage you to watch that video, and the link is in the description. So in this hopper right here, we've got the item that's being sorted. You can see that in slot number 1, and then we have what looks to be 3 pieces of dirt. Let me bring one of these over into my inventory. You can see that filter 1 pops up. This is filter 3, this should be filter 4, and this is filter 2. So what you have to do is you have to put items in those last 4 slots that you know will never make it into your system. And I know that I'll never put a dirt block named filter 1 through 4 in my system. And so then 41 stay in this hopper. And again, I'm not going to go through the details of how that works, but essentially it locks and unlocks the hopper below so that when cobblestone passes through here, the cobblestone will drop into this hopper chain. Okay, so again, if you're looking for more details on how the sorting system works, head over to that video by Impulse SV. So we want that cobblestone to fall. Now we've got 4 chests set up for our bulk storage, so we can have 4 double chests of cobblestone. These will fill from the bottom up, because again, the rules of our hoppers is it pulls down first and then pushes out. Okay, so it'll pull down, it'll go all the way to the bottom, fill this chest. When that chest is filled, this chest will fill, and so on and so on. So I've got 3 of those sorting systems set up. So that's essential. Number 4 to the bulk storage is automatic storage. Now you don't have to do automatic storage. If you don't mind your chest jumbled up, that's fine. You could do something, very simply and just go to a chain of chests, and that would work. That work just fine. So the next essential item for a bulk storage system is you have to have a catch-all. You don't have to, but I would definitely recommend it. If you don't have, let's see, if you come down here, if we don't have cobblestone, granite, or gravel come through the system, they won't go into these chests. And then, where are those items actually going to go? So let's say you put a diamond in that chest. Well, we don't want it to just disappear. We also don't want to clog up our system. If we didn't put a catch-all system in here to disperse the other items, then what would happen is these hoppers would just fill and it would backlog, and we would have just a big mess. So you should have a catch-all system. The other reason this is important is for those spawner areas where you might have like armor or bows or swords or things of those nature that you want to collect. So you definitely want to have a catch-all system. So that is essential number 5. And I simply just created a hopper chain at the end of the line. So anything that makes it to this hopper automatically goes in, starts filling into those 4 chests. And when they're full, then we'll have a problem and it'll start backing up. But your job would be to keep these things clean. So that's essential number 5. The 6th most essential thing in a bulk storage system is you have to have a trash or a garbage. There's going to be things that you don't want to keep. For me, one of those things is leather armor. And so you want to create some sort of garbage system. So if I put the items in here, you'll see that, if you noticed, This is actually a trapped chest, and I would recommend using a trapped chest for your garbage system so that you could put things in, and if you realize it's a mistake, you can still get them out without them just going in. Now, the way the garbage works, let me pull you around back, is same as the item dispenser over there. However, we're dropping them into, I just have fire. I find fire a little bit easier than dealing with lava, and you can put that any number of blocks down to prevent the sound, from making it up into your storage area. So that's essential item number 6. But let me kind of show you how this works here, and just see how cool it really is. Let's see. Do we have any cobblestones? Let's take those 22 cobblestone out. And then do we have some gravel in here as well? Okay, so it looks like I probably got those two confused. Did I? Let's check the sorting here. Let's see, the sorter is gravel and then granite. Okay, so I did have those backwards on the sign. So gravel, cool, and then granite. All right. So let's put some of this stuff in. And actually, let's empty those chests. That way we just have a clean system. That way we know, kind of debugging. Okay, pull those things out here. And of course, let's put those items in there. And then we'll drop a few pieces of ice too, just to show you the catch-all. Okay, so those chests are empty here. And let's go ahead and put some granite, let's put some gravel in, let's put some cobble in, let's put some ice bucket, we'll put ice in, we'll put a water bucket, we'll put the rest of this in and the rest of that in. So let's go up here, and you can see the item elevator is definitely flashing, and we should be seeing items making it into our bulk storage. So gravel's making it in, there's cobble making it in, and then of course there's granite, and we should have had some ice and water bucket. So those are kind of the essential pieces. Now you can also, for the bulk storage, a lot of people like to do light indicators to see which chest there is. I didn't do that in this case because this is more about the essentials of bulk storage and what you need to think about in those terms when you're thinking about doing a bulk storage system. But these are so handy, so handy. It's so nice to, especially in a mining area or a spawner area, not to have to, manually think about things and put them and organize them where it goes. The other thing I want to point out is I just did 3 items here just to make it kind of simple, but this can be expanded out infinitely. So you could have, sorters going all the way out here. So you could have bulk storage for everything. I would definitely not recommend it. This is hard enough to build in survival. I know I would definitely encourage you to view my next episode 17 on my Let's Play series. So you can kind of see what it actually takes to get this built in survival. And finally, just one last little note, essential number 7 is you always want to make this area back here where the sorters are, where the droppers are, the water streams, you want to make those all accessible somehow, right? You don't have to make it pretty. Just make a 1x2 tunnel so that you can get to these areas, because you do have to debug them. It seems like when there's updates, or especially if you're on a chunk border, sometimes those chunks don't quite load right. You do have to get in here and just kind of see what's going on, see if something is kind of full or anything like that. So definitely encourage you to do that. Yeah, so hopefully, guys, this gives you a great idea of what it's going to take to build a bulk storage system in your world. And hopefully you found this useful. If you did, please leave a like and let me know that you liked it. If there's something I missed or something you'd like to see, please leave a comment as well. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you can get future videos by me, The Running Geek. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.